Since the season is coming to a close, I thought it would be fun to go over the strongest identities for every sinner. Some of them are pretty easy to come to a conclusion on than others. I feel like a war may break out over the topic. But that's what I'm here for. Let's just hope Project Moon doesn't release anything earth-shattering in the next few weeks. But other than that, let's get right into it. This one doesn't need a long, drawn-out intro. First up as always is Yi-sung. At first glance, I thought it would be really easy to pick out the strongest identity for Yi-sung, but looking at what he has made me realize how much depth Yi-sung really has. There's the Liu Association, I think that's how you say it, who's a core member of the Burn team, Spice Bush and Solemn Lament who compete for a spot on the Sinking team, both being core members of it. We have Fell Bullet too, who exists. I mean, it's cool as fuck, come on, I love him. Then of course we have Heisho Gaming himself, Horse Yi-sung. And lastly, the Ring Yi-sung. The way people describe him to me makes me feel like he was moving like King Von in his prime, but I literally never see anyone use him anymore. Still, it's a lot of options, but we can get rid of a few instantly when talking about the strongest ID. Liu is, that ID is getting no dipped by the rest of the guys we're talking about. Sorry, not sorry. Between Spice Bush and Solemn Lament, Lament literally blows Spice Bush out of the water. Probably wouldn't let it land a single hit or win a clash against it. By the way, this isn't counting lore because in classic Limbus fashion, I can't read, so I won't be taking it into account. Next, it's between Solemn Lament, Fell Bullet, The Ring, and Heisho Yi-sung. Honestly, Fell Bullet is mid without its ego and mirror dungeon strats, so I'll have to leave him off the list. If I put Solemn Lament, The Ring, and Heisho Yi-sungs in a room, I know Lament is getting slimed out first, which means it comes down to the Painter and the Horse. Honestly, these two seem very equal in power. Both have relatively similar clashing power, and their effect application isn't that far from each other. I believe it comes down to the damage they're able to put out, and in that regard, I'd say Wu Branch Adept Yi-sung pulls out on top, making him the strongest ID for Yi-sung. Feel free to absolutely blow me up in the comments and threaten me. Actually, please don't, I was kidding. I have feelings. With that, let's move on to Faust. There's honestly no reason to even think about any other ID than the GOAT herself, Heisho Pack, Mao Branch Adept, Faust. The sheer amount of damage she can output outclasses, in my humble opinion, every single other ID in the entire game. When I see other people put her at the top of S tier, I'm appalled, because I genuinely feel like she's in a tier of her own. Because comparing any other ID to her makes it feel like I'm putting a grade 9 fixer against a color fixer. Is that enough glazing? Holy, had my hair tied up, on my knees and everything. Now that I have your attention, it would be really cool if you liked the video. For each like this video gets, I'll run one mirror dungeon. And if you subscribe, I'll even bake you a cookie. As a smaller creator, it would really mean the world to me. Thank you. Moving on to Don Quixote. She at least has a few decent IDs that can maybe fight for the strongest identity spot. In my eyes, it's either in the name of Love and Hate Don Quixote, which is a lot of people's favorite, so I'm kinda scared to talk about her, and the manager of La Mancha Land, Don Quixote. And I guess we might as well talk about the new Heisho ID for her since it's adorable. In my eyes, there's a clear winner between the three, but let's start with everyone's favorite, Magical Girl. I feel like to use her effectively, you have to also have her ego. I mean, sure, she's fine without it, but the ego just completes her. The clashing is decent and the damage is also pretty good. Respectable on all accounts, but is that enough to be the best? In the case of this cute little fluffy Ramdon, I think people underestimate her a lot. Her clashing ability isn't something to laugh at, keeping up with most of the newer IDs, or at least not falling too far behind. Her damage is okay, still in the middle of the pack, which is honestly fine. I don't think every new ID has to be broken. It's always nice to give players options, and I think that's what this Dawn ID does. She's good on a sinking team, and you can use her on Rupture, but we're talking about the best fucking ID for every sinner, and that goes to the one and only, the manager of La Mancha Land, Don Quixote. Yeah, this identity wipes the fucking floor when you put her up against any of the other Dawn IDs. Clashing, damage, survivability, she has it all. Aura, animations, what more can you possibly ask for? I don't even have to explain myself for this. Next. Ryoshu is a bit of an interesting case. She really only has two strong identities that come to mind, at least so far, N-Corp and Heisho Ryoshu. N-Corp has decent clashing potential and average damage. but has some really high highs under the right circumstances. You can definitely make her work and make her work well. On the other hand, we have Mal Branch Ryoshu, who gets aura from being part of the strongest branch in Limbus company. Similar clashing power as N-Corp, but on average deals more damage from just how much easier she is to use. Besides, being part of the Heisho gaming gives her value since you want more pieces of that team to have it reach its full potential. In N-Corp Ryoshu's case, you have to bring along Fell Bullet. I kinda have to give this one to Mal Branch Ryoshu. 1,000 more points to Heisho gaming. Briskly moving on to our favorite bot, Meursault. Now before, this would have been an easy fucking decision. Slam dunk, call it a day and rack in the money. But at the final hour, a new idea appeared to contest the best identity spot for Meursault. The Prince of Lamachaland versus the Thumb East Capo, Meursault. Let's go over the challenger, the Prince. As with every or most units in this season, super good clashing power. The effects this guy brings to the table though is where he shines, taking the already strong Blood Feed team up to a new level. Not only is he an amazing support for the team, the guy himself can put out very respectable damage. Unfortunately for him though, he's up against East Capo himself. Pack that shit up cause it's over for him. Actually smoked, since the Thumb Meursault is just a different beast. Putting out even more damage than the Prince can imagine with even better clashing. You could make an argument how it comes down to the teams and how well the Prince can support the Blood Fiend team, but Tremor is also in a really good spot. And I think with the new additions to Tremor, I don't feel like it would tip the scale in the Prince's favor enough. So for those reasons and more, the Thumb East Capo is the best identity for Meursault. Moving on to our favorite pretty boy, Honglu. He's another one where there's really only two identities duking it out for the top spot. This time being the Lord of Hongyun, who is fine as fuck, and Full Stop Office Rep, who is also fine as fuck. Honestly, every single sinner has looks that can kill, other than Sinclair of course. Where were we? Right, Honglu. To me, this is kind of like a puppy fighting a hydrogen bomb because while Full Stop Office Honglu is decent, with alright clashing and above average damage, that's pretty much every single ID I've talked about in this video. Meanwhile, fucking Lord of Hongyun facilitates the broken as shit Heisho team, moving it from just a regular strong team to, in my eyes, the best team in Limbus company. His damage is almost second only to Faust. There's really only one other ID that I can even think of that might contest that spot. His skill 3, which for me brings Faust 90% of the time, is basically a nuclear bomb calling in another airstrike to finish off the job. Like, are we being for real? 1,000 more points to Heisho gaming. Next we have our friendly neighborhood bum, Heathcliff. He's great, though he does have a few decently strong IDs under his belt. Kurakumo, Full Stop Office, Wild Hunt, and I guess we can talk about the new Heisho Heathcliff too. For me, the easiest to kick out of the group would be the Full Stop Office Heathcliff, since I feel like he needs Honglu to allow him to reach his potential, which I see as a negative because relying on others, not in my Limbus company. Kurakumo kind of falls in the same category of needing Ishmael. I mean, sure, he's strong, but I wouldn't throw him on every team kind of strong. Not that there are many identities that fit that category, but you know what I'm saying. Now it comes down to Wild Hunt and Chicken. Now I know there are some diehard fans out there for Wild Hunt, so it may surprise you that I'm going to say this, but Wild Hunt is peak fucking gaming. Getting on a horse mid-battle, throwing a fuck-ass coffin at something and bringing down lightning is just beautiful. Amazing damage when you don't roll heads, has AoE, I mean the guy has everything. The Chicken is alright. It doesn't really do anything super unique. He kind of just does damage, which he does do a lot, but I personally don't think he even outdamages Wild Hunt, and is certainly not cooler than Wild Hunt. Still though, 1,000 points to Heisho. Who better to talk about next than Ishmael? Honestly, there weren't a ton of standard identities for Ishmael. I think Zoe was good, Muller is decent too, Kurakuma's up there for sure. She was in general a middle of the pack kind of sinner. However, that all changed with my favorite type of gameplay, Young Office Rep Ishmael. Straight gambling. Her damage is fucking insane, especially if you get into the MD and start swapping out her skills to S3. Man, is she just broken. I cannot believe people didn't think she was worth pulling before. In my eyes, she is clearly the strongest identity for Ishmael. It just feels so good when she hits that 5-piece Kozon. Like, tell me that's not nice. But now we can talk about Rodion. I feel like she does have quite a few notable identities under her. Desi Association, the Princess of Lamachaland, Heisho Pack Sea Branch, and of course, the sword sharpened with tears, Rodion. I could go over every single one of these identities and tell you why they don't even come close to the one and only lobotomy ego Rodion, because we all know she's clearly the strongest out of all her identities. Honestly, even in the entire game. She's the only one that I feel can contest the second strongest ID spot with Honglu. Insanely high damage, extremely strong clashing, fucking amazing status application. She pretty much has everything. I feel like there's no debate when I say the sword sharpened with tears is the strongest identity for Rodion. However, it's finally time for Sinclair. If you know me, you know how I feel about Sinclair. But I always give people second chances, so I won't pretend Sinclair doesn't exist. However, his identity list feels a bit lacking. I feel like some of his strongest ID would be the one who grips, Sync Association, the middle little brother, the Thumb East Soldado, I think that's how you say it. And thankfully, the Heisho gaming won't have to be talked about. As much as I love the Heishos, I think it's cool that all the sinners got a chance to all be a part of the same team. But we are not ready for that conversation just yet. Let's go back to Sinclair. I'm honestly not entirely qualified to talk about their IDs since this is what I have for them. But from what I've gleaned, most of his value comes from being able to support his teams, but not as a core member, which is why I feel like most people rate the Thumb Sinclair so high. The one who grips carried my ass in Ricardo, so they have a special place in my heart. And Don Sinclair is, I heard he was kinda janky. So I'll leave this one to you guys. What do you think is the best identity for Sinclair? Now back to something I have some expertise in, Outis. One of my favorite sinners. I can sit here and talk about how she has more than a few decent identities under her belt. Magic Bullet Outis, Butler Outis, T-Corp Outis, maybe the Barber too. I'm not sure what's going on with her. I feel like we got one side that thinks she's the worst thing to ever come out of Condo 7, and the other that thinks she's fine, or something like that. But we all know the real answer. Always bet on Heisho. That's right, motherfucker. Outis has one of the stronger Heisho identities. The damage, the application, and clashing make her head and shoulders above her other identities. Long live Heisho. 10 million points to Heisho gaming. Finally, we get to our last sinner, Gregor. He kinda has a few dedicated fans, and I respect that, so I'll do my best to give him a fair shake. The only ones I feel even merit the title strongest for Gregor are the Priest of Lamachaland, Firefist Office Survivor, Heisho Pack, Sea Branch, and the Night Owl's Cappuccino. Firstly, I'll remove Sea Branch and the Priest since they both feel like side pieces or a sneaky link you might want to use on your main roster to complement it rather than being a core member of it. I can also see a case being made that the Sea Branch is the strongest because it can put out the most damage, and in that case, 1,000 more points to Heisho. But for now, ignore it. That just leaves us with Night Owls and Firefist. And if you put those two in a room together, Night Owls might kill himself. But seriously, I think Firefist would come out on top. Also, like, listen to this. Yeah, I'm not messing with him. For our bonus round, we have Dante, who's in Dante tier. With that, you have what I think are the best identities for every sinner in Limbus Company in Season 7. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments, and I will read each and every one. Anyway, thank you for making it here. If you did, I really do appreciate you. If you liked the video, I'll do one thing you say valid for the next 2 seconds, and if you subscribe, I think you're really cute. I'd like to thank my channel members who let me make more videos faster, so huge shout out to them. If you'd like to join, that'd be super cool and would let me upgrade my piece of garbage PC. I love it still though, it's cute. It might also help me make cute emotes and badges. We also have a Discord, so feel free to join it. I'd love to see you. Anyway, until next time, I hope to see you there.